Something brought you here. Maybe you've been doing this work for a while, reading the books, sitting with the practices, watching yourself carefully. And somewhere underneath all that effort, there's a quiet question that hasn't gone away. Why hasn't the deeper thing changed? That question deserves a real answer. Not a motivational one, not a reframe, a real one. That's what this module is here to give you. Welcome to Module 1 of the Identity Shift Protocol. The title of this module is Identity as Architecture, What You Are Running. That phrase, what you are running, is deliberate because the brain doesn't hold your identity like a belief you can choose to revise. It runs it like an operating system, constantly below the surface, shaping what you notice, what you feel, what you allow yourself to do, and what you quietly rule out before you're even aware a choice was available. The goal of this first module is to see that operating system clearly, not to judge it, not to dismantle it yet, just to see it, with the kind of honesty that makes everything that follows work. Here's the thing most personal development work misses, and I say this not as a criticism of any approach. I've benefited from many of them, but as a structural observation. Most techniques work at the level of what you do. They try to install new behaviors, new habits, new thought patterns, and those things matter, but they're downstream of something deeper. The brain is a prediction machine, not a metaphor. That's how it works. At every level, from the simplest sensory input to your most complex sense of who you are, the brain is generating predictions about what's most likely to be true, and then it's defending those predictions against disruption. Your sense of who you are, your identity, is itself a prediction model. A bundle of deeply encoded beliefs about what a person like you does, feels, notices, and expects. When reality confirms those beliefs, the brain registers it quietly. When reality contradicts them, the brain experiences it as a threat. That's why change is hard. It's not a lack of willpower. It's not a failure of commitment. It's a well-designed feature of a brain that needs internal consistency to function. The same system that keeps you stable is the one you're trying to update. In this module, we're going to name that system. We're going to distinguish between what I call your operative identity, what the brain is running, and your aspirational identity, what you're hoping to run someday. And here's what matters. Until the operative identity shifts, all the aspirations in the world is pushing against a current you can't quite see. This module runs over 2 weeks. Here's what that looks like from the inside. The anchor practice is something called the Operative Identity Inventory. It's a simple exercise. You'll complete a sentence 10 times with genuine honesty, and then identify the 3 to 5 answers that feel like load-bearing walls. The beliefs that most fundamentally organize how you move through the world. Simple to describe. Not easy to do, honestly. The priors that are most defended are exactly the ones most worth seeing. Alongside the inventory, there's a short daily practice each morning, called the Future Self Morning Anchor, 3 to 5 minutes, and a brief evening reflection I call the Witness Log. Once a week, you'll do a prediction audit, a structured look at the patterns that show up. None of these are long. All of them require genuine attention. A few minutes of real presence is worth more than an hour of going through the motions. You already know that. One thing I want to say clearly before you go in, the daily practice in this course is not a motivational exercise. It's not about enthusiasm. It's not about feeling good about yourself in the morning. It is a structured neurological rehearsal protocol. Research on mental rehearsal, including work on how vividly imagined experience produces structural change in the brain, shows that the nervous system doesn't fully distinguish between something that happened and something that was imagined with enough specificity. Emotional engagement and somatic activation. The brain you're building during practice is not a metaphor. The change you're encoding is not just psychological. The ancient teachers and the modern neuroscientists are describing the same terrain from different vantage points. That synthesis is where the real leverage lives. So when you sit down for 3 minutes each morning with the Future Self Morning Anchor, you're not pretending. You are practicing. In the most literal neurological sense of that word. If you've been at this for 20 years and still feel like a beginner, some mornings, you're not failing. You're awake to the size of it. That awareness is the beginning of doing something about it. This module is going to ask you for honesty. Real honesty. Not the version you'd share in conversation, but the version you carry quietly in the space between who you present yourself to be and what you observe yourself doing. That gap is where the operative identity lives, and it's where real work begins. I'm glad you're here. Let's go find out what you're actually running.